I used to think marriages broke like glass, one loud shatter and it's done. Turns out they fracture like drywall, hairline cracks first, easy to ignore if you don't look too closely, easy to paint over if you want to pretend. 14 years with Laura. College sweethearts. I designed museums, she designed everything else, our kids' school projects, the backyard layout, even the way our bookshelf spines were color-coded, for visual calm. Emily, 12, reads faster than I draft. Noah, 9, can juggle 2 soccer balls and a conversation about Marvel villains. From the sidewalk, we looked like a catalog spread, white fence, roses, laughter leaking from the kitchen windows. People actually said it out loud at block parties, "You two are the couple who have it all." I believed it, like a fool. The first crack was small enough to miss. "Girls' night," she said, tossing her hair into a messy bun she only wore when she wanted to look like she didn't try. Tuesdays at first, then Thursdays. She'd come home after 10, smelling faintly of a cologne I couldn't name. When I noticed, she rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might detach. "God, Michael. It's a new detergent. Stop being weird." The tone wasn't just offensive, it was flat-out contempt in a silk robe. Then came Pilates. Laura never liked gyms. She used to mock the synchronized grunting of group classes. Suddenly she was evangelizing reformers like they cured cancer. Classes ran late, then later, then the studio changed the schedule. When I asked where the studio was, she waved her hand. "Don't police me." And just like that, I was a cop in my own kitchen for asking how my wife spent her evenings. Her phone, once a forgotten appendage living on the counter under a wobbly ceramic owl, became a limb she guarded like it held national secrets. She took it to the bathroom, to the laundry room, to the mailbox. She put my mother's contact under "Do Not Disturb" because her texts pop up at the worst times. When it pinged during dinner, she flipped it face down and smiled at me with no teeth. "Just Megan. PTA drama. You wouldn't care." My name for that smile is now, "The iced-over lake, looks solid, can't hold weight." The lies came next, slippery and practiced. For our anniversary, I booked a sitter and a table with a view. 2 hours beforehand she clutched her stomach. "I think it's food poisoning." She looked immaculate while allegedly dying, fresh blowout, eyeliner sharp enough to do surgery. I tucked her into bed and fed her ginger ale. Later, after the kids were asleep, I checked our joint card to see if I needed to cancel the reservation fee. There was a charge from a rooftop bar downtown, time-stamped the night before, our girls' night. When I asked, she didn't blink. "Oh, I got your sister that gift card for her birthday there." "You forgot again, didn't you?" And somehow I ended up apologizing, standing in my own kitchen holding a bouquet that would never make it to a table with a view. She got mean in these small, surgical ways. When I asked if we could sync calendars because my firm had me on a brutal timeline, she said, "Your buildings get more of you than we do, so don't start with calendar control now." When I offered to pick up Noah from practice, she put a hand on her hip. "You don't know the drill. You'll mess up the car line." When Emily wanted me at her book fair, Laura forgot to tell me the time had moved. "I texted you." She hadn't. But she showed me a message thread with my name and a ghost bubble that never arrived on my phone. "You need better service," she said. I stared at the thread, at how my own name looked like a stranger's. Unexpected moments kept cropping up, little landmines. "Our neighbor, Deb, said at a barbecue, didn't expect to see you at Tuesday bar, Laura. You looked great." Laura's fork froze midair, then clinked. Oh, Deb must have me confused with someone else. Deb's face did that polite smile people wear when they realize they've stepped in something. Later, in the kitchen, Laura cornered me while the kids chased a balloon. "If you repeat Deb's little idiocy, we'll have rumors, and that will be on you." "On me." "Got it." I started noticing things in my car. A hair tie in a color Laura didn't wear, stretched thin like it had been on a wrist all day. An unfamiliar sports water bottle wedged under the seat, the kind coaches carry. The first time I asked about the bottle, she laughed. I took Emily to the park. Maybe a mom forgot it. Second time, her lip curled. Are you inventorying plastic now? Is this foreplay to you? She dropped the bottle in the trash like she was spiking a football. Noah's coach, Ryan, had one of those smiles that looks friendly until you realize it's mostly teeth. He was good with the kids, loud on the field, always kneeling to talk to Noah eye level after drills. Laura called him "Coach," like it was a punchline we were all in on. After practice she lingered, standing too close, that iced-over lake smile thawed into something warmer. When I mentioned it, she shook her head. You're embarrassing. He's married. I met his wife once, a woman with a ring who left before introductions, like a character in a play who exits stage left to keep the plot easy. The day Emily said, Mom laughs at her phone a lot when Coach texts funny memes, something in me tightened. Coach. I said, steady. Emily shrugged. His messages say, R. He sends dog videos. Mom says not to tell because Dad will be jealous of the puppy. Laura walked in then and kissed the top of Emily's head like she was playing a role for an audience of one. Don't involve the kids in your paranoia, Michael, she said, to me, through her daughter's hair. That night Laura came to bed late, showered, smelling like the cologne I couldn't name. You're seeing ghosts, she told me. Maybe if you weren't married to your drafting table, you'd see me. I stared at the ceiling fan flicking shadows on the wall. Each blade felt like a hand slicing air. On Thursday, the Thursday that would split my life into before and after, I had a morning site visit cancel. I didn't text. I decided to surprise her with coffee and the pastry she likes with the raspberry stripe. I pictured us laughing about my nerves, about how stupid I'd been to imagine the worst. I pulled into the driveway and noticed the house was quiet in that heavy way, like the air put its finger to its lips. And then I heard laughter from the garage. The laugh from the garage wasn't Laura's polite, PDA laugh. It was the one I hadn't heard in years, low and unbuttoned, the kind that used to roll out of her after midnight when we were still inventing each other. It was followed by a man's voice, a playful shushing, the squeak of metal shifting on concrete. I didn't call out. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted the truth to keep talking before it noticed me. I pushed the laundry room door with my knee, the one that leads into the garage. It stuck for a second on a pile of cleats and a soccer ball, then gave. The smell hit first, motor oil, hot rubber from last night's drive, and a cologne that wasn't mine, citrus and something expensive that tried too hard. The overhead bulb hummed. My car sat center stage, the hood still dusty with pollen. Laura was on it, perched like a queen on a throne she didn't pay for, legs around Ryan's waist. His gym shorts rode up. Her shirt, my shirt on her, actually, was unbuttoned enough to make me nostalgic and nauseous at the same time. Time did that weird accordion thing. In one breath I was staring, and in the next I was cataloging everything, the way Laura's wedding ring was on her right hand instead of her left, like grief migrated, the whistle around Ryan's neck, swinging gently, a metronome keeping time with Betrayal, the imprints of Noah's little handprints on the fender from last weekend's wash, half smudged by Laura's heel. I must have made a sound, some small animal noise, because Laura's head snapped toward me. Her face went through a shuffle of expressions like bad stock footage, shock, guilt, annoyance, then the one I know too well, cold, professional denial. It's not what it looks like, she said, voice trembling, eyes sharp. I laughed. It came out wrong, like a cough. Really? Because it looks like my wife and my son's coach are rehearsing a PSA for poor life choices. Ryan's hand came up, palms out like he was backing away from a skittish dog. Michael, man, let me explain. Get out, I said, without looking at him. My voice didn't sound like mine. It sounded like the kind of voice that makes glassware stop ringing. He slid off the hood, nearly tripped over Noah's ball, and did this pathetic little dance to find his sneakers. The unexpected part. As he reached for the side door, his phone, stuck in the waistband of his shorts, slipped and clattered to the floor, lighting up. The lock screen flashed a photo, Ryan, shirtless at a lake, Laura on his shoulders, both of them grinning like the sun had personally RSVP'd. Date stamp, 2 Saturdays ago. The day Laura told me her aunt had emergency surgery and she needed to sit with family. My stomach twisted. Their laughter on the lock screen kept looping silently as the phone failed to unlock, like a cruel gif. Ryan grabbed the phone, mumbled something about being so sorry, and slipped out the side door, leaving a vortex of silence behind him. The door's safety latch clicked, banal and final. I looked back at Laura. She straightened her shirt with fingers that didn't shake. Defiance settled in like furniture. "You're blowing this up," she said. "You're always dramatizing. We were just talking. On the hood of my car. With your legs around him. That's a new dialect of talking." "It's been a rough few months," she said, hopping off the hood like it was a normal surface to dismount after committing arson. "I needed to feel something. It's not about love." "Congratulations," I said. "You've discovered friction." "Stop being cruel," she snapped. "If you were home more." "Don't." I pointed at the hood, at the faint outline of Emily's doodled heart in the dust from last week when she wrote, "Dad plus Mom," as a joke, and Laura laughed and wiped it away with a sleeve. "Don't use my hours to explain your choices on my car." Laura folded her arms, chin lifted. "You don't understand what it's like to be here all day, invisible. He makes me feel." She stopped, recalibrated, changed tactics. "We were ending it today. We were saying goodbye." My eyes fell on the garage camera mounted in the corner, a cheap motion-activated thing I put in when raccoons raided the recycling. Its little status light was off. The plug was lying on the floor, prongs bent like a tooth pulled wrong. Did the raccoons unplug that too? I asked. "Maybe it fell," she said, "too fast. You always buy the cheapest tech." Something buzzed. Laura's Apple Watch lit up with a preview from Megan PDA, "You left your scarf in my trunk, hugs and kisses." She paled, covered it with her hand, then rolled her eyes like I was the one wearing the costume. Gossip group chat. "Moms are clingy." "Right," I said. "Megan with a trunk. And X's and O's." "Don't be gross," she snapped. "It's an inside joke." Unexpected event number 2, someone knocked, and the garage keypad chirped. The door to the driveway started rolling up, light slicing in. Deb, our neighbor, stood there holding a bundt cake like an apology. "I saw your car, Michael." Thought I'd drop. She froze, eyes hopping from the scene to Laura's shirt to the way my hands were braced on the workbench like it was the only thing keeping the floor from tilting. Her face went full spreadsheet, rows of shock, columns of pity. "Oh. I'll just," the cake tilted. I stepped forward automatically, took it so it wouldn't hit the ground. "Thanks, Deb," I said, because muscle memory of politeness is a hell of a drug. The smell of lemon sugar felt obscene. Deb backed away without turning around. The door hummed back down, carving us out of the world again. Laura's cheeks flushed, not with shame, but fury. "Now the entire neighborhood will have a story, and it will be your fault for making a scene." I walked in my own garage. She grabbed a microfiber cloth and started wiping prints off the hood like she could erase the last 10 minutes. "You love to perform righteous," she said, not looking at me. "But where were you when I needed help with the kids? When I asked you to be present?" "Ryan listens." "Ryan gets paid to listen," I said. "He's a coach, not a confessional." She tossed the cloth into the sink, crossed her arms again, and fixed me with that iced-over lake. "If you tell the kids, you'll destroy them. That will be on you." I felt something in me crack, the kind of crack that doesn't make noise but changes the shape of the room. No, I said, and my voice didn't shake. This is on you. Unexpected event number 3, my car's dashcam, which I installed after a break-in last winter and promptly forgot, chimed. Motion detected. It had been recording since the moment I opened the door. I glanced up at the tiny screen on my phone app. A frozen thumbnail, Laura, on the hood, Ryan, between her knees, my hand in the corner of the frame like a witness. As if the universe wanted to make sure I couldn't be gaslit out of my own eyesight. Her gaze followed mine. For the first time, real fear threaded through her mouth. Delete it, she said. Less demand than plea. I didn't answer. I took the bundt cake inside, set it on the counter with a care that felt surreal. I went back to the garage, pressed the wall button, and watched the door rise on silence that wasn't empty anymore. It was crowded with what I knew and what I couldn't unknow. Laura stood there, arms wrapped around herself, suddenly small and still wearing that defiant tilt to her chin because she'd rather drown than tread water. I took one last look at the hood of my car, the dust scrawls, the smudged heart, the half-moon of her heel, and then I said, "Go inside." "Michael." "Guest room," I said. "Now." She opened her mouth, closed it. Walked past me with her perfume-atomizing guilt in her wake. I stood in the garage until the light timed out and left me in the dark with the sound of the refrigerator clicking and the tinning of cooling engine metal. I let the fury sit next to the grief, both of them breathing, like heavy animals waiting for commands. We sat at opposite ends of the kitchen island like two lawyers who hated their clients. The bundt cake stared at us, lemon glaze drying into a shell. Laura folded her arms, chin up, posture crisp. I put my phone face down but close enough to touch, the way you set a fire extinguisher near an active stove. "Say something," she said. "I did," I said. "Guest room." "That's not a conversation." Her mouth flattened. "You walked into a private moment and made it theatrical. You made it theatrical on the hood of my car." She inhaled sharply, then smoothed her hair like she could smooth the last hour into nothing. "We were saying goodbye," she repeated, a script line she seemed to like. "It's been exciting, sure, but not love. I got carried away." "We both did." "You told me you were invisible," I said. "You aren't invisible to me." She snorted. "Please. I could dye my hair green and you'd notice at the ribbon cutting for your museum." The lies started to braid themselves. "It was one time," she tried first. "Your lake photo says otherwise." "That was a joke. A group thing. Just you and R. Looks like a crowd." She recalibrated without blinking. "Fine, okay, twice. But mostly talking. He listens. He's a mandatory reporter for Shin Guards." She put both palms on the island. "You're so cruel when you're hurt." I almost laughed. "And you're so sweet when you're cheating." Her watch buzzed. "Megan PTA, can you talk?" flickered across the glass. Reflex beat reason, I tapped the message on the screen and hit call before she could pull her hand back. The speaker chimed, rang once. Ryan answered. "Hey, you okay?" "I'm parked 2 houses down." "Do not say anything." "We'll say it was." "Hi, Megan," I said. Silence. Then a soft, "Michael." He hung up. Laura jerked her wrist away like I'd burned her. That was beyond violating. "You renamed him Megan," I said. "In your phone." "That's not violation, that's architecture. You built a whole lie and decorated it with PDA stickers." She looked me dead in the eye. "You've always been suspicious. I had to work around your thing." "My thing?" "Control," she snapped. "You clock me. You're a walking time card. If I'm a time card, it's because you started punching out without telling me." Her jaw flexed. You and your metaphors. Always on a stage. She grabbed a knife and sliced the cake too hard, the blade screeching on the ceramic. She shoved a plate toward me. Eat. You'll feel better. I stared at the wedge. Is this a hostage ritual? Doorbell. The sound ricocheted through the house. Laura flinched. Don't, she whispered. It's probably a package. It wasn't. A florist stood there with a bouquet the size of a small bush. For Laura, he said cheerfully. Card says, to L, Monday can't come fast enough. R. Need a signature. Laura's face didn't move, but her neck went blotchy. Wrong address, she said, already closing the door. Leave it, I told the guy. He did. I set the flowers next to the cake like props in a bad farce. Laura grabbed the card, crumpled it, and shoved it in her pocket. He's an idiot, she said. He thought, I told him not to. That he should stop sending evidence. I offered. She exhaled through her nose. You love this. No, I said, surprising even myself with how flat the word came out. I hate this. But I'm done being told I didn't see what I saw. My phone buzzed on the counter. A Venmo notification slid down. Ryan K. paid Laura $118, Pilates renewal. My laugh this time hurt. Your Pilates is very generous. Does it include lake access? Her eyes darted. He owed me for team snacks. I fronted. Team snacks at the Blue Heron Hotel? She tried a different lane, pity. Her voice went soft, precise. Michael, I have been drowning. I begged you to come up for air with me. You were always at the firm, or in your head. Ryan was a hand on the surface. Then you grabbed his neck and dragged him into our house. Her softness evaporated. You want to punish me. I get it. But if you ruin Noah's team. Don't do that. If you make this public and he loses his coach, that's on you. On me, I repeated. The words felt like old gum. Everything is on me unless it's fun. We stared at each other over the flowers and the cake and the little island of a life we'd curated like a showroom. The front door clicked, the smart lock's soft weather stripping thud. Unexpected event number 1.5, Mom. Emily's voice, from the foyer. School called. The power's out. They sent us home. Noah's shoes squeaked on the tile as he skidded into the kitchen. Dad. You're home. Coach texted. Hey, bud, I said, too bright. Heat flooded my face. Laura's eyes flashed a warning, don't you dare. I inhaled. Sat on a stool to get level with Noah. We're going to talk later, okay? Right now, why don't you guys go upstairs, get started on homework? I'll make grilled cheese in a bit. Is that for us? Emily nodded at the cake. Her eyes are Laura's but kinder. The bouquet interested her. Who sent flowers? Mrs. Deb, Laura said smoothly. She had extra. For the PTA thing. Her lies came out like breath, automatic, practiced, a body function. Upstairs, please. Dad has a headache. Emily hesitated like she could smell smoke but didn't know where to point. Noah grabbed a pedal, giggled, and sprinted off. The stairs thudded, doors closed. Laura rounded on me in a hiss. You will not drag them into your drama. They're children. My drama? I said. You're unbelievable. Delete the dashcam, she said. Now. No. If you keep it, you're planning to hurt me. That's abuse. Keeping the truth is abuse. She stepped closer, voice low and poisonous. If you tank my reputation, our reputation, remember Emily's friends' parents are in this neighborhood. Remember Noah's team. Remember your clients who live here, too. You think they'll keep hiring the architect whose wife blew up his life because he couldn't keep her happy? There it was, the little stick of dynamite wrapped in silk. She'd always been good at finding the tender underbelly and pressing. "You're threatening my work," I said, almost conversational. "I'm reminding you of consequences," she said. "You live so high up in your head you forget gravity." Unexpected event number 2, my phone lit up with a FaceTime from an unknown number. I hit decline. A text followed immediately with a photo, Ryan, bruised lip blooming purple, sitting on a curb. The message: "She said you were violent. I'm sorry. I'll tell the board you attacked me if you go nuclear." Another ping, "Or we say it was nothing. Everyone moves on." I turned the screen toward her. "Your boyfriend is auditioning for witness tampering." "He's not my," she bit the word in half. "He's panicking. You scared him." I said 3 words. "You can be scary." She reached for my wrist, then thought better of it. "We can fix this. We tell the kids we had a fight. We go to counseling. We delete everything. I block him. I already told him it's over. And Monday can't come fast enough." That was, she blinked. Like a slot machine, her face spun and landed on righteous. "It's a florist's mix-up. Deb sent it. You love to see patterns that aren't there." "Laura," I said quietly, "you are lying like it's cardio." She threw her hands up. "Fine. Yes. I lied. I lied because I knew you'd overreact and turn this into a funeral. Most wives would get a pass for a midlife wobble. You turn a wobble into a crime scene. Most wives don't kiss their kids' coach on their husband's car." She moved to the sink, turned on the tap, and scrubbed her hands like Macbeth. "What are you going to do, Michael? Call the league? Humiliate us? Put Noah in the middle? You want to be a hero? Do it. Burn it all down." "I'm going to be a father," I said. "Which means I'm going to protect our kids from adult messes and the man you brought into our home. I'm going to be honest with them in a way that doesn't hand them my pain like homework. I'm going to call the club and ask that Coach Ryan be moved to a different age group. I'm going to separate our accounts today. You're going to the guest room. We are finding a therapist, for them first, then maybe for us if there's an us left. And I am not deleting the truth." She stared at me. Then she did something I didn't expect. She smiled. Slow, thin. "You think you're a saint," she said. "You're just a man who can't stand not being the victim." Her hand flicked out and knocked the cake plate. It smashed on the floor, lemon and porcelain skidding under the cabinets like it was trying to hide. Noah shouted from upstairs, "Everything okay?" "Dropped a plate," I called back, keeping my voice light. "All good." Laura's eyes glittered. "You'll cave," she said, stepping around the shards with bare feet she didn't seem to notice. "You always cave when it gets hard." "Watch me," I said. She took her phone, thumbed furiously. A bag pinged the stairs. She was already ordering a lock for the guest room, or texting a friend to spin a different version of the day. She paused at the doorway, turned. "If you tell Emily anything without me, I will never forgive you." I looked down at the lemon mess and the flowers and thought of my son's handprint smudged on the hood, the one heart Emily drew in the dust that Laura wiped away. "You already didn't," I said. She left. The faucet dripped twice, like a clock forgetting how to count. I got the broom. I cleaned up. It felt like practice. I swept lemon and porcelain into a dustpan and realized I was shaking hard enough to make the broom chatter against the cabinets. The adrenaline that kept me upright in the garage wore off, and the room tipped like a cheap carnival ride. I braced my hands on the counter and stared at the ridiculous bouquet. Monday can't come fast enough. The rage rose, hot and clean, and then, without warning, it broke into something saltier. I put my forehead on my forearm and let two quiet sounds out of my body that I hope my kids will never hear from me again. I thought of the versions of us I carried like blueprints in my head. College library Laura with ink on her fingers. Newlywed Laura in a second-hand dress laughing at the rain that soaked our exit. Mom Laura, hair in a messy knot, sleeping with a baby on her chest while I watched, useless with awe. Every version flickered, scrolled, then hit a hard stop at the hood of my car. It felt like someone had taken a pencil to our timeline and snapped it clean at Thursday. I did what I do when a structure scares me, I inspected it. I walked the house like a client's site, the family calendar with the fake Pilates, the laundry basket with a shirt that didn't smell like our detergent, Emily's doodled heart wiped ghost thin on the garage dust. Every detail was a nail I'd missed. Unexpected event number 1, a soft knock on my office door. Emily slipped in, hugging her favorite book tight to her chest like a shield. "You and Mom are weird," she said, not a question. Her eyes shine like Laura's but they don't cut. Did I do something? I swallowed gravel. No, Em. You didn't do anything wrong. I wanted to pick a simple lie, everything's fine, but it sat heavy in my mouth. Mom and I had a fight, I said instead. True, small, survivable. We're going to get some help with it. You know how writers have editors. Sometimes families do, too. Her face flickered, relief and worry wrestling for space. Okay, she said. I wrote a poem called Fault Lines at School. My teacher said it was mature. She put the book down, slid a folded paper out from between the pages, and left it on my desk without meeting my eyes. For you. Then she hugged me, hard and fast, and pretended not to notice when I held on longer. I took the paper after she left. 14 lines about a house that looks perfect until the sun hits it just right and you see the thread-like cracks. My daughter had been mapping our foundation while I argued about schedules and cologne. Unexpected event number 2, my email dinged. Subject, Incident Report, U10 Tigers. The club had blasted a form letter to parents, due to a personal matter, Coach Ryan will be on leave. A substitute will step in temporarily. Laura, from the hallway, said, "See? It's being handled. Like a leak we'd finally called a plumber for." There was a reply all from some dad named Carl, "Hope everything's okay, Coach R." Legend. I stared at the word legend until it blurred. Laura leaned in the doorway, arms crossed, that iced overlake look smoothed back onto her face. "You didn't do this, did you?" she asked, savage under the sweet. When I didn't answer, she pivoted. Good. Because Noah would be devastated. Translation, credit claimed if favorable, blame outsourced if not. I made grilled cheese, my hands knew the recipe while my head floated 6 feet above the stove. Butter, flip, gooey center. Noah came barreling through the kitchen like joy in socks. Coach sent a message to the team, he shouted, waving his iPad. Laura snatched it so fast he blinked. Screen time's over, she sang, and mouthed at me over his head, not one word. The lie she told next slid out seamless, Coach is sick, buddy. He'll be back. Noah shrugged, accepted the world as advertised, and inhaled half a sandwich. Later, when the house finally went quiet, the real storm started. The anger I could ride. The grief had no handles. It came in waves, shame for not seeing it sooner, jealousy so primitive it embarrassed me, a weird, stupid nostalgia for our inside jokes that was probably just my brain bargaining for a universe that no longer existed. I scrolled our photos until my thumb hurt, the algorithm corralling a life into squares. First day of school, the rose garden, Noah's muddy cleats on the steps, Laura wearing my sweatshirt, eyes soft, before they learned how to harden. Unexpected event number 3, Deb texted a video from her doorbell cam. I didn't mean to see, but in case you ever need, context. The clip showed Ryan jogging from our side door to his car, glancing back, shirt twisted. I could see my silhouette at the garage threshold, a shape that looked like my father when he found out Grandpa had a second family. I typed thank you and deleted it and retyped it and sent it. Deb replied instantly, "You're a good dad. I hope my kids someday agree." From the guest room, Laura's glow lit the hallway. She was on FaceTime angled at flattering, whispering. "He's spiraling," she said, theatrical sigh, "I'm handling it." Then, louder, for me to hear, "Yes, Megan, the rumor machine is crazy." Megan/not Megan probably nodded obediently. Then, the unexpected add-on lie, tossed like confetti, "He's always had anger stuff." She milled the story in real time, pressing it into a shape that fit her, shoving me into the leftover negative space. I stood there, listening to my life get retyped. My chest started doing that tight, tinny thing. I sat on the floor at the top of the stairs and counted the slats in the railing to slow my pulse. 12. 13. 14. On 15, I realized I was saying out loud, "You're going to be okay, man," the way I used to talk to myself in the car before difficult presentations. The ridiculous steadied me. I opened my laptop, not to doomscroll evidence, but to build a list like it was a punch list for a troubled site. Title, Thursday. Under it. * call a therapist for the kids. Non-negotiable. * separate bank accounts. Freeze the joint card. * backup dashcam. Document without dramatizing. * talk to a lawyer, quietly. Knowledge is not equal to war. * tell mom before she hears a version with me as a monster. * breathe. Don't bleed on the kids. When I hit save, the file name autofilled, Thursday, 1. Docs, a tiny, stupid joke by the computer that made me smile in spite of myself. There will be other Thursdays, it implied. This one is just, this one. I went to the garage. The car hood had cooled, the heart Emily drew was a gray thumbprint of a memory. I wiped it carefully, evenly, not to erase her, but to start clean. The dashcam pinged. New video saved to cloud. I watched the thumbnail hover, a trapdoor I could keep falling through forever. I closed the window. I already knew what I saw. I don't need to bruise myself with it nightly. When I came back inside, Laura was waiting in the hallway, wrapped in her robe like a flag. "I told Mom you're under a lot of stress," she said. "She's praying for you." Translation, preemptive strike delivered to a sympathetic ear. Also, I posted in the neighborhood chat that someone tried to open the garage earlier. Just in case Deb was snooping. We can't have stories. It makes Noah a target. "Someone did try to open the garage," I said. "He left shirtless." She smiled sweetly, the kind of sweet that's all citric acid. "You're not funny, Michael. Jokes are how you avoid intimacy. Lies are how you avoid accountability," I said. Her face hardened. "If you tell your version, I'll tell mine. Then, eyes flashing, a last spit of venom, and mine will be easier to believe." Something inside me sat down. Not collapsed, sat, like a person choosing the ground when the bench is taken. The fight that had been crackling under my skin all day lowered its volume. I saw the kids' doors, one with Noah's team poster, one with Emily's, "Do not disturb, unless snacks," sign. I saw the bouquet sagging in the kitchen, I saw the cake crumbs clinging to the baseboards like confetti after a parade we didn't earn. And I thought, I don't have to win the version wars. I have to raise my children and be able to look at myself in the mirror. "I'm going to sleep in Noah's room tonight," I said. "He still kicks, but at least he's honest about it." She scoffed. "Martyr." "Dad," Noah mumbled when I slid under his comforter later, barely awake, "are we going to the tournament on Saturday?" His foot found my calf. It hurt. I welcomed it. "We'll figure it out, bud," I whispered to the dark. He snored, mouth open, child soft. I stared at the ceiling and pictured the drywall seams. Hairline cracks, yes. But seams can be taped. Not to hide the break, so the surface holds while you decide what to rebuild. Acceptance didn't arrive with trumpets. It shuffled in at 3 a.m., wearing sweats and said, "You can't fix what she doesn't admit is broken. You can only build what you can control." I listened. I slept for 2 hours like a person being held up by scaffolding. It was enough. I woke up in Noah's bed with a Lego in my shoulder and a plan in my head. It wasn't heroic. It was a checklist wearing boots. Step 1, tell the truth to the right people in the right order. Not a press conference, just age-appropriate honesty. I made pancakes because hard talks land softer with syrup. When the kids drifted in, Noah hair like static, Emily watching me like a scientist, I said, "Family meeting." Laura took the chair opposite me, smile polished, ready to MC. "I'll go," I said before she could. Mom and I had a serious fight. Grown-up stuff. It wasn't about you. We're going to live like roommates for a while, separate rooms, separate schedules, so we can figure things out without arguing around you. Emily's voice was small but steady. "Are you getting divorced?" "I don't know yet," I said. "But we're going to talk to a counselor. You'll each have your own counselor, too, if you want." Laura jumped in, all warmth. "It's just a rough patch. Dad is stressed at work, and I." "Mom," Emily said quietly. "Please don't." Laura froze, mid-spin, then set her jaw. "Fine," she said, too bright. "Boundaries. Love that for us." Step 2, borders. I changed the garage keypad code, the Wi-Fi password, every digital key we co-owned, bank, cloud, grocery app. I wasn't locking Laura out of life, I was locking our life out of Laura's story. She stood in the doorway, arms folded over her robe like a sash. "Control looks so good on you," she said. "Does it come in paranoid?" "It comes in consequences," I said, and she laughed without humor. Unexpected event number 1, the club director called before I could call him. "We received concerning information," he said, choosing words like he was crossing a minefield. "Coach Ryan is on leave. For everyone's comfort, we'd like to move Noah to another team for the rest of the season. We can place him with Coach Luis." His voice softened. "No details. Just clean distance." I said, "Thank you," and meant it. Laura hissed from the doorway, "You did this, like I'd slashed Noah's tires. He loves that team." "I love our son not practicing trust exercises with your boyfriend," I said. "He'll be okay." Unexpected event number 2, the school counselor emailed. Subject, Emily reached out. She asked to talk last week about family stuff, the counselor wrote. "We set a time today. I wanted you to know I'm here for her." Last week. My kid had been braver than me while I was counting Pilates classes like tea leaves. I replied yes, please, thank you, anything, and added the therapist's number I'd already found. Step 3, legal. Not war drums, just a map. I called a lawyer a friend recommended, a woman whose bio read like a stern fairy tale godmother. "Document, don't broadcast," she said. "Protect the kids' routines. Keep the house calm. If he contacts them, save it. If she tries to move money, pause it. You're doing fine." I believed her because I needed to. Laura's counteroffensive arrived in an email she accidentally CC'd me on, TO, PDA moms. "Hey Queens. If you hear anything, Michael's under mega stress with a big project and not himself. We're taking space. Please keep us in your prayers." Within minutes came the replies, heart emojis, platitudes. 1. Men always have their midlife moments. I typed and erased 5 responses. Then I texted Deb, "If anyone asks, say, they're handling it privately. Please." She wrote back, "No one worth keeping will ask." I told Noah about the team switch while we kicked a ball in the yard. You'll get to learn that curving shot from Coach Luis, I said, trying to sweeten the medicine. He scuffed his sneaker. But Coach Ryan says my left foot is magic. His face crumpled a little. Is he mad at me? No, I said, kneeling to get eye level. Adults sometimes mess up. When they do, kids shouldn't have to be there for it. That's not on you. He nodded, not totally convinced, but he let me teach him the curve. The ball arced clean and surprised him into a grin. Magic, I said, and meant it. Laura watched from the porch, face arranged like a sympathy card. When Noah ran inside, she descended the steps. You love dismantling, she said, voice low. Did it feel good to yank his hero away? You did that, I said. She rolled her eyes. I kissed a man. You tore down a team. You lied to a family, I said. I built a boundary. Unexpected event number 3, Ryan texted from a new number. I'll go quietly if you don't smear me, he wrote. Laura said you're litigious. I stared at the sentence until it became a shape. Laura, from behind me, said, block him. The audacity made me laugh, like a fox advising the farmer to install better fences after a snack. I replied, do not contact my family again. Then I used the phone's built-in neat little tools to make him disappear. Afternoon brought quiet. The kind that feels earned. I set up a whiteboard in the mudroom, 2 columns, color-coded because I contain multitudes. Left, kids. Right, grown UPS. Under kids, school, practices, now with Coach Luis, bedtime, Saturday library, Sunday pancakes. Under grown UPS, bills, pause joint card, utilities on autopay, counseling schedule, calendar sync only for child logistics, no ad hoc girls' nights, no surprise drop-ins at practices. It looked like a hostage negotiation list. It was, hostage situation being the chaos we didn't ask for. Laura breezed by, read it, and clapped once. Adorable, she said. You think you can project manage a heart? I can project manage a house, I said. And 2 hearts I won't let you break. She stepped closer, eyes bright and mean. You're not strong enough to leave, she said softly. You'll put up charts until you forget why you made them. Maybe, I said, because honesty had become my only weapon that didn't turn inward. But today I'm strong enough to not let you write my part for me. Unexpected event number 4, my boss called. I braced for the personal lives, professional impacts speech. Instead he said, we're giving you the museum expansion. You'll need flex hours for a month. Take them. Do whatever steadies your house. I swallowed hard. Thank you, I managed. Don't thank me, he said. Build something good. That night, after the kids were asleep, Laura knocked on the master bedroom door like a guest. She walked in without waiting. I booked counseling, she announced. For us. Tomorrow at noon. She handed me a confirmation email where she'd already written the therapist a bio. Husband struggles with anger/perfectionism/control, wife overwhelmed by domestic labor, both want to reconnect. I circled 2 sentences with a mental red pen. I'll go, I said. But we start with the kid sessions. And we start with the truth. The truth is complicated, she said. The facts aren't. She sat on the edge of the bed we used to share and let her voice go soft, like the early years. You know I loved you, right? She asked. I didn't mean to blow it up. And there it was, another unexpected event that shouldn't have been. I believed that she loved me then. I believed she hadn't woken up plotting arson. I also believed she'd struck the match and kept striking when the first one didn't catch, and then told me my eyebrows were singed because I stood too close to fire. 2 truths can live in the same room and not reconcile. I'm not here to punish you, I said. I'm here to parent them and protect myself. If there's a marriage left after that, we'll see. She tilted her head. So, trial separation. In-house? For now. I stood. Drew a line with painter's tape down the hallway, a ridiculous little ritual that made me smile. Your side, I said, pointing toward the guest room and the office. My side, I said, pointing to the master and the laundry. Shared, kitchen, kids, living room. We speak logistics. We keep voices low. No surprise visitors. No, Megan. We keep our rings off until we decide if we've earned them. She looked at the tape like it was a border crossing. You're so theatrical. You did stage a garage scene, I said. I'm just adding set design. Unexpected event number 5, Emily padded out in socks, looked at the blue line, and didn't ask a single question. She bent, pressed her palm to the tape, and whispered, fault line, like a benediction. Then she hugged both of us and went back to bed. Laura blinked hard. I stared at the ceiling and thought, if it takes painter's tape to hold this house together while we figure out what to rebuild, then I will buy the entire aisle. Before I slept, I opened Thursday, 1. Docs and added a final bullet. Asterisk choose, revenge or repair. I closed the laptop. I chose neither. I chose responsibility, which might be the unglamorous cousin of both. I lay awake and listened to my son breathe down the hall, my daughter turn a page, my wife open the guest room door and shut it again. The house sounded like a ship, creaks, low hums, water moving past hull. We were afloat. Not in the romantic way. In the literal, workmanlike way that keeps people alive long enough to decide where to dock. 2 weeks later, I sat on a love seat in a therapist's office that looked like a pottery barn staged a hostage negotiation. Laura crossed her legs so precisely the air took notes. The therapist, let's call her Dr. R, asked us to start with one true sentence each. My wife had an affair with our son's coach, I said. Laura didn't blink. I felt abandoned, and I made a mistake, she said, voice cotton soft, a bow tied around a grenade. Dr. R nodded like she was watching weather roll in. 2 true sentences, she said. Not contradictory. Now, the next part is accountability. She turned to Laura. What do you take responsibility for? Laura's eyes did that fog and sun thing. For, letting my needs go unmet until they exploded. Not quite accountability, Dr. R said gently. Try again. A small, startling thing happened, Laura's face loosened. I crossed a boundary I knew was wrong, she said, and for a half-second the room exhaled. Then she tightened right back up. But if Michael had. Dr. R raised a finger. Full stop. Her voice was calm steel. We don't add coupons to accountability. Unexpected event number 1, halfway through the session, Dr. R asked for silence. Let's do a 1-minute honesty drill, she said. No explanations. Just name feelings. I said, angry. Scared. Protective. Tired. Laura said, trapped. Judged. Invisible. Dr. R nodded. There we are, she said. Now we can choose what to build. We lasted 3 sessions. In each, Laura drifted toward image maintenance, I drifted toward evidence. By the 4th appointment, Dr. R said, you both want different projects. Michael wants a structural retrofit. Laura wants fresh paint. It wasn't cruel. It was diagnosis. Meanwhile, life went on being life. Unexpected event number 2, Ryan resigned. The league director called and used careful words, multiple boundary concerns, like he'd hired an attorney to chew each syllable. No details. Just, gone. On Saturday, Coach Luis taught Noah the kind of curve that makes the air lean in. Noah scored, pointed at me with that huge, unself-conscious grin only 9-year-olds have, and shouted, did you see? I did. I saw a kid who had already learned that adults can fail loudly and kids can still make clean arcs in messy weather. Unexpected event number 3, Emily's poem, Fault Lines, won the middle school lit prize. The auditorium smelled like old varnish and hands. She read in a clear voice about houses that look perfect until the light shifts and you see where the seams were rushed. Afterward she tucked the ribbon into my jacket pocket and said, "I'm okay, Dad." I believed her for the first time, not because the ribbon said so, but because she did. Back at home, Laura kept thumbing stories into shape like dough. She posted an Instagram photo of our rose garden with a caption about grace in hard seasons. Comments bloomed, "You're so strong, marriage is work, praying." She liked them all in batches, like watering. At pickup, a PTA mom with aggressive eyebrows put a hand on my arm and said, "Men go through things." I smiled a professional smile and left. Deb caught my eye over car doors and mouthed, "You're okay," which somehow mattered more than all the scented platitudes in the world. One night, Laura knocked on the hallway tape line with her knuckle, like a summons. "We could still fix this," she said. "Delete the dashcam. We move. Fresh start. No one needs to know." "I already know," I said. It was the kindest sentence I could offer. She tried tenderness. She tried nostalgia. She tried anger, pity, threats with velvet edges, and a list of our best days like a realtor's brochure. I saw the brochure, I also saw the crawlspace with the mold. So I did the unglamorous thing, I called the lawyer again. We drew up a separation agreement that prioritized the kids' mornings and nights and school projects over who won. I kept the house, stability for them, and bought out her equity with a refinance. She found a 2-bedroom a town over with light she liked on the walls. The painter's tape came up one quiet afternoon, the floor underneath was smooth, clean, ordinary. Funny how much drama can cling to something you can peel in 30 seconds. Unexpected event number 4, Ryan's actual wife, yes, there was one, emailed me. Subject, "I'm sorry you got dragged into this." She attached screenshots that were not kind to either of us. She didn't ask for a war council or a pity parade. Just, "We're divorcing. Take care of your kids." I wrote back, "You too." It felt like closing a door gently instead of slamming it. The night before Laura moved out, she stood in the doorway of the kids' rooms with a duffel and the face she used to have before it learned to weaponize. "I didn't set out to hurt you," she said. "Two truths can sit together, she loved me once, she hurt me now." I carried her box of cookbooks to the car. We both laughed, suddenly, at how absurd it was that we were divvying up spatulas while our lives were being rezoned. When she drove away, I didn't feel triumph. I felt tired and oddly clear, like after finishing a brutal clean of a space you let go too long. Here's what I learned, not as a saint, not as a martyr, just as a guy whose job is to keep buildings from collapsing. Asterisk cracks show up as whispers first. Pay attention to the small misalignments, girls' nights that multiply, phones that never get set down, inside jokes you aren't inside. You don't need to be a detective. But you do need to look. Asterisk when you catch fire in your house, call the right people, a therapist for the kids, a lawyer for the map, a friend who won't pour gasoline. Don't crowdsource your trauma to the PTA, don't make your kids your confidants. The truth you tell them should be sized for their shoulders. Asterisk document facts, not feelings. Feelings are clouds, facts are studs. Both matter. Only one holds up walls in a storm. Asterisk don't let someone draft you into their version if it makes you unreal in your own life. If they rename Ryan, Megan, you don't have to pretend you can't read. Asterisk boundaries are not punishment. They're guardrails on a mountain road. Put them up even if someone calls you controlling while swerving. Asterisk don't live inside the evidence. Keep the dashcam if you must, but don't keep replaying it nightly. You can memorize your hurt until it becomes your only language. Learn other ones. Asterisk choose your project. Revenge feels like progress until it eats your calendar. Repair is noble until you're the only one with a hammer. Responsibility is boring and life-saving. What I'd tell anyone standing where I stood in my garage, hearing laughter that didn't belong to your house: breathe. Sit down if you need to. Say fewer words than your adrenaline wants. Save your strength for what comes after: the broom, the emails, the pancakes, the library on Sundays, the curve of a ball your kid learned while the grown-ups sorted themselves out. Weeks later, the house sounded different, emptier, yes, but also honest. Saturday morning, pancakes hissed in the pan. Emily read me a paragraph from something too advanced for 12. Noah dribbled a ball in the hallway even though I tell him not to every single time. My phone buzzed with a calendar alert: museum expansion kickoff, flexible hours approved. I set it down. Dad? Noah said, toe on the ball like a pause button. Is this normal now? It's ours, I said. And we'll keep building. He nodded like a tiny foreman. Emily passed me the syrup. Outside, the rose garden needed pruning. Some canes you cut to save the bush. Some blooms you let go crispy and brown because what's dead shouldn't keep pretending. I used to think marriages broke like glass, one loud shatter and it's done. Ours fractured like drywall, then like concrete chipping away under a bad load, and then, when we finally told the truth, it came apart in orderly sections we could carry without crushing the kids under the debris. I don't know what I'll build next in my own heart. I know the specs now: load-bearing honesty, inspected often, exits clearly marked, no rooms you have to sneak into. And windows, big ones, so when the light shifts, we can see the lines in time to make a choice. If you need a blueprint, borrow mine. Then make it yours.